What's up, everybody? I'm Simon Sabro Alta, and today we got for y'all an Elden Ring boss tier list. So before we get into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Simon Sabro YT. Link will always be down there in the description. Also, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss an upload, all of that good stuff. Also, comment down what's your favorite Elden Ring boss. Y'all are about to find out mine. Is Elden Ring like your favorite FromSoft game? Anything like that whatsoever? But with all that out the way, let's just jump right into it.
Chaos Control! Jackpot.
Alright, so to kind of get the list started, it's not like only the Remembrance bosses, it's the great enemy bosses, and shout out this guy for making the tier list because I didn't really want to make my own tier list. And I did recently just do a playthrough of Elden Ring with a pure dex build, no magic, no summons, nothing like that. And I beat every Remembrance boss, which I'm honestly proud of because the first time I played the game, I played with a Faith Strength build and kind of spammed magic with summons and stuff. But that's not what y'all came for. Y'all did come for the tier list and stuff. But just wanted to say that so you know, like my experience, because like I said, pure dex build. Maybe your build might have been completely different. You never know. But starting off, we do have Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. Now, also, really quickly, I don't have any gameplay for these fights. Maybe as I go, like depending on how long the video is, I might put some gameplay up while I talk. I don't know. I've been doing a third playthrough on New Game Plus, so maybe I'll take some gameplay from that playthrough. But and I didn't get that far into it, so it's not really going to be all of these bosses on there, or that I have gameplay for at least. But I'll probably use someone else's gameplay and credit them. But Renala, honestly, I don't think I want to start with that boss, but we'll start with Renala because it was the first one. We'll kind of just go in order. Honestly, I'd give Renala a good C tier. I think the fight was very beautiful. Kind of interesting with the phase one. Other than that, though, not the biggest fan of it. Especially like I said, I used a Dex build, Uchigatana only, and it was a breeze. Honestly, I'll probably drop it down to D tier, but just because it's beautiful, I'll put it in C tier. Godric, hot take. I think Godric's one of like the best designed fights in the game. It feels fair. The pacing for it is really good. He does good damage. He does have one move that I know a lot of people complain about, which is like that wind move. Honestly, I never saw an issue with it. I love the move. It looks cool. All that. I love the move. So we'll put him in A tier. Honestly, I'd put Godric in S tier, honestly. Yeah, I'm confident with that. Commander Nile. I don't like how like all over the place this is, but I'm gonna kind of bounce around actually, but we'll start with those. So Margit, this is probably like the first boss you'd run into on average. On my first playthrough, I would have threw him straight into E tier. I hated this guy, but on my second playthrough, actually, I think I'll put him in B tier. I think he's a really good boss. Fun to fight, honestly. I did enjoy his fight a lot. This guy, really quickly, I never fought this guy. Like, I've never seen him. I'm not going to put him anywhere on the tier list because that feels unfair. But I never fought this guy at all. Same goes with the Godskin Apostle. I actually never... No, that's a lie. I fought him once at the Windmill Tower thing by Millicent's Quest. Honestly, I'd put him in C tier. Godskin Noble, though, I'll put in E tier. We'll put in D tier. The Duo, where is it? Because the Duo, you already know where that one's going. So, fun fact. Normally, I don't cheese bosses, or do anything like that whatsoever. But this fight... I had to. Like, I had to use the sleep. I had to use whatever I had to use just to beat these guys because I hated the fight. Like I said, Godskin Noble specifically, I really just do not like at all. And so, yeah, that's why he goes there. The Duo and all that. Mimic tier will also go straight down there. Valiant Gargoyles, I'm going to put it in D tier. because I don't like it, but I don't think it's as bad as the Godskin duo. In all honesty, um, honestly, I don't even think Mimic Tier is as bad as the Godskin duo, but it's not very interesting, so we'll put it in E. Magma Worm, Makar, and like I said, I'm kind of bouncing all over. We'll actually go with Leonine Misbegotten. I actually hated this fight. His attacks feel very like he's super aggressive. They're when I was starting out, they were really hard to dodge and all of that. But then when I fought him like in Redmane Castle, he was a breeze. So I'll put him in C D tier just because you see him so often. Honestly, Crucible Knight and Misbegotten, we'll throw that down there in E. This is one of the worst fights I've ever done. Very stressful. I hated it. Long story short, I just hated it. Their movesets don't line up. Um, yeah, movesets don't line up. Doesn't make any sense to me. I don't care too much about the lore or anything, but they were like two of my least favorite enemies. If there's a solo Crucible Knight, he'd go straight into E because I hate those guys. Gideon, let me just drop that right there while we're ahead. I'm trying to save some of the better bosses for later. So Fierce Champion also goes down there. So me personally, I'm really bad with like NPC fights. So Fierce Champion, Gideon, stuff like that. I'm really bad with those types of fights. And those were the only two fights I used summons for because I did not want to like, dude, I think on Fierce Champions, I did like, I'm sorry. I think I did like 50 tries or something. Like they were just cooking me. I don't know what it was, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna just summon Mimic Tier and just I don't even care. I just wanted to fight for the sacks and get all the remembrances. So these two bosses I hate just as much as Godskin Duo because they're just for me at least frustrating to fight. I think that takes care of Full Grown Falling Star Beast. I also don't like, but I'll put it in D tier. It was okay. Once again, probably would go higher, but you do see this thing a lot. But I did like it. The arena was really good. It definitely fit the like size of the monster or beast, what enemy, whatever you want to call it. So I think it's actually I'll put it in C tier, honestly. Dragonkin Soldier, love this fight. He is very like squishy, like a glass cannon. He's very easy to fight. But honestly, I just love how beautiful it is. Maybe I'll drop it to like C tier, cause kind of same thing as Renala. Like the mechanics weren't that interesting to me, cause I kind of just blown him up. But I just love his, especially his face too, and his music is also really good in my opinion. So I did enjoy it. I don't even know if he has like an exclusive music to his battle, but whatever that music was really good. Flying Dragon Agil, I'm gonna put in D tier. I would throw it in E, but I don't think it's as bad as these guys. But it's just the fact that you fight so many of the same exact dragon feels very wrong to put it anywhere higher than D tier. And Flying Dragon Agil specifically, if that's like the one I'm remembering correctly, that should be like the first dragon you ever fight. And you see him like when you walk over into like the little grave spot or whatever, and he like flies in. That was actually really cool though. So I'll move him up a bit. Also, these aren't really ordered. Nah, they are. They're ordered inside of the tiers. Yeah, definitely ordered inside of the tiers. Um, I'm trying to like I said, I'm trying to just go through all of the Red Wolf of Radagon. Actually, this is a really fun fight to me. Shares the same problem with Dragonkin Soldier. He's a glass cannon, but I think that works in his favor. He does have a couple of attacks I don't like the bite attacks that he has. I'm really not a fan of. But the way that it like stacks the magic swords, I think it's called like the Carrion Glintstone swords, something like that, on top of like his regular attacks, looks really cool, and it's honestly a really fun fight. I do love that fight a lot. Magma Worm Makar, I don't really like the Magma Worms at all, honestly. And a lot of Remembrance bosses are going to go into higher tiers, of course. But Magma Worms, I'm not a fan of them at all. Their moveset is very predictable. some of the hitboxes just don't make sense to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm bad at the game. I don't know. Skill issue. But I think yeah, we're kind of left with some of the more interesting bosses now. Like I said, Elimer I'm not gonna rank because I never fought him, and it would feel unfair to put him anywhere, honestly. But he does look cool, that I will say. Commander Nile. This would go, honestly, this would go A tier. But the two summons that he has at the beginning really ruined the fight for me. When it's a one-on-one though, dude, this fight honestly would probably even go S tier for me. Like the pacing, just the rhythm of the fight just feels really really good. So I would put it in S tier, but then he has one summon, and then he has the second summon, and so I'm gonna put him in B tier. Honestly, I think that's fair. I did enjoy his fight. I will say more than Red Wolf. Maybe even more than Margit. Nah, not more than Margit. But I did enjoy his fight, especially like the lightning with the snow, and then the background too just fits it so well. I did love Niall's fight. Loretta, honestly, I think I'd put it in B tier. She's a really fun fight, but because when dude, I had such a hard time with like her spirit form because I was under leveled. So by the time I got to her, like the muscle memory was just kicking in. So it was a really easy fight. And honestly, I think just for that, I might drop it down to C tier. Higher than that, higher than the rest of them though. Higher than the rest of them. I think now we're left with remembrance bosses. Yeah, so we'll start Regal Ancestor. Shares the same problem with Renala. Really gorgeous fight. The music for it is amazing. I'm sure you've probably heard a million people say that already, but the music for it is amazing, and just the beauty of the fight, it's up there. But the fight itself isn't, especially because of the other ancestor spirit that you fight like 10 steps away. Not the biggest fan of that part. And especially because on the Dex build I did, like I said, that's kind of what I'm ranking all of these off of. On that build, I fought the regular Ancestor Spirit as like right after Margit, so like before I even got to Godric, or I think after I beat Godric, something like that. I kind of just stumbled upon it. I literally forgot about it. I was like, where does this go? And then got me to that, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. But the Regal Ancestor, it's an okay fight. His heal mechanic isn't really bad if you're doing enough damage. Shouldn't be an issue at all. But I'll kind of just throw him there. Astel, Natural Born of the Void, goes kind of in the same realm. I do like Astel, especially just his design. His design honestly would put him in like S tier. It feels kind of strange having Godric as the only one in S tier so far. But Astel I did enjoy. But the fight, honestly, I think my biggest memory of the fight would be just the overall aesthetics of it, though. As far as like the actual fight mechanics go, I'm not a fan of like the teleporting that he does. It's kind of BS at times, especially when he does teleport into the grab, and the grab is like a insta kill. So that's why I would go see. Maybe I do actually really like his mechanics though. I'll put him in B tier, low B tier though. I'll put him there. Lich Dragon for the Sax, not a fan at all. Not a fan. I love his aesthetic. The arena that you fight him in is really good, but as I said, I keep saying it, I know, but as a Dex build, fighting him, and he has that red lightning mechanic where if you stand under him too long, you get hit by lightning. And then like the blight smoke, don't get me wrong, the blight doesn't really bother me at all. I don't think I ever died to blight build up fighting him, and I did beat him first try. My first playthrough I beat him second try, but yeah, it's a good fight. He does have really cool attacks, but I'm putting him in C mostly off of aesthetic. The actual fight itself was kind of cheeks to me, honestly. And I think after that, well, okay, so this is the last. Okay, so him and Fortisax. We'll do Fire Giant first. Did I say Fortisax? I meant Placidusax. I'm sorry. But Fire Giant, honestly, I'm gonna put him in D tier. It feels like a fight that's not like it just feels like a slugfest with him. I didn't fight him on horseback or anything. I fought him just purely on foot. I don't use horse to catch up or dodge like certain fire attacks or something like that. But it didn't feel good to fight him at all. I did beat him first try with the Dex build. Strength Faith build, that took me at least like a good 15 tries, I think. But I got him to phase 2 on the second try, and then just never got close for a good couple of tries. But with the Dex build, the fight just felt like it took too long. Um, I'm just not a fan of it. I'm usually like the way the camera works fighting him just doesn't feel good at all. I'm sure you've heard that a million times about this guy by now, but it just doesn't feel good at all to fight him. He does have a couple of, actually no, I don't like any of his mechanics now that I think about it. Moving along, like I said, Placidusax. Actually, I'm gonna put Placidusax in B. Really did love this fight, and he has some of the most amazing like moves. I love all of his moves, especially in like phase 2. But this one I have to put on screen, and I'm saying this for like editing me, but I have to put this one on screen. The one where he like stabs the sword into the ground and it like explodes. Dude, that move is gorgeous. And then the parts where he like disappears and the music kind of slows down or stops and then he just flies in. It's a really hard move to dodge. Maybe I just suck at it. I was using Bloodhound step, but even then I wasn't dodging it, so maybe I just suck at the game. But I love Placidusax's moveset. It's really good. I think I might A tier is looking kind of empty. We'll just keep on going. So okay, we'll do it in this order here. Actually, yeah, let's start with Radon. Radon would be the first A tier. I think Radon is a really fun fight. I fought him without summoning at all. Fought him on foot. Didn't use my horse except, actually no, I didn't even use it except to catch up. Except for like in the beginning, when he's like shooting a bunch of arrows at you. But honestly, his fight is really good. Despite his size, I felt like the camera wasn't an issue. Like, Fire Giant. But I felt like his camera wasn't an issue. I don't feel like any of his moves were BS, except maybe like the one where he kind of summons like 4 rocks behind him and they just sit there for a really long time. And I just don't know when he's going to throw them. But I don't mind that. Keeps me on my toes. I think it's a good fight overall. Really did enjoy it. Aesthetic, great. Especially the phase 2 transition. Gotta love it. Okay, so now we'll go Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. Now, first run, this was actually my favorite fight. I did use the Serpent Hunter, of course. But on my second fight, I like the Dex build. I think I'm probably going to put him in B tier. Mostly because I never experienced... Dude, that move in his second phase, I think it's the Rancor call, or whatever the move is called, I don't know. But the move where he like puts his sword in the air and then everything just hits the fan. And I'm playing on this monitor instead of like my really big TV. And so it would cause the frames to start dropping a bit, but also because I am playing through a capture card. So the frames would start dropping a bit whenever he used that move, and it would just ruin my day every single time. I understand that's a bit of a technical issue, so I can't blame him exactly for it. Because if it was just that alone, I'd probably put him in like D tier. But I do love the fight, and especially once I like mastered the fight, it felt really good to fight him. And I didn't like cheese the Serpent Hunter skill, because I know that is an option, but I didn't cheese it at all. Godfrey, S tier, above Godric. Favorite fight, dude, I love this fight. Horalu, I did hate when I first started fighting him, but like Horalu being the second phase, of course. But once I got used to it, nah, this was the best fight. As same goes with the Godfrey Golden Shade. Also did love that fight. Just the pace, just the rhythm of his fight is just so good. And you can kind of get a vision of what I like, being the two S tiers, like that kind of back and forth, dodge, attack, dodge, attack. That it feels a lot like Dark Souls 3. Um, and that pacing is just what I really love. I'm not the biggest fan of like the super fast combos or anything like that. Just a good, back and forth brawl. It feels amazing. Morgott D tier. I hated this fight. Yeah, I hated this fight. I did not enjoy it at all, honestly. Like I was just saying, the whole fast movement, swinging nonstop, endless stamina stuff. I was really not a fan of this fight. Especially because he'd do so many attacks that would throw him on the other side of the arena, and then you have to run catch up. By the time you catch up, he's attacking again. I did not like this fight. I beat it maybe like second or third try though, but was just not like, it wasn't fun for me at all. Moog, oh, A tier, definitely. I do have a video up of me fighting Moog. I love this fight. Once again, it's the same thing with the other three or other two. I'll probably no, I'll keep him in A tier, and I'm gonna explain why. But his pacing is just amazing. Like, he delays a lot of his attacks. Like, his attacks feel awkward to dodge at first, but once you got used to that, it feels really, really good. The reason I put him in A instead of S is because of in phase 2, when there's just so much blood everywhere, like blood buildup or blood flame, whatever you want to call it, literally everywhere around the arena. It does not feel good to fight him at all. Like, the pacing sucks. Not pacing, but like, there's so much stuff you have to keep in mind, and you're just like chugging flash. I do love his phase 2 transition though. It is great. Like I said, I do have a whole video of me fighting him. In case if you want to see that, I'll probably throw some footage up from that gameplay onto this, like, while I'm talking here, because yeah. Moving on though, we do have Malekith the Black Blade. Honestly, I hated this fight as well. Like, I really, really hated this fight. Beast Clergyman sucks. It's for the same reasons that Morgott sucks. But once I got used to it though, it kind of went up for me. But then Malekith, 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 like Malekith, come on, dude, the fight was amazing. And Beast Clergyman kind of felt like a boss run back for me to get to the good stuff, because I did not like Beast Clergyman, like I said. But after I got used to Clergyman, because I was fighting him and I was just losing. This boss probably took me the most amount of tries. Maybe like, it would probably be between Malekith, Moog, Godfrey, and Millennia, of course. Those bosses took me the most amount of tries. Probably Rykard would be up there too. But Malekith was just so much fun though. It was amazing. Like I said, especially just once I got to the Malekith part, because Clergyman, once I got used to his moveset, it was okay. I was able to like do it no hit consistently though, and it was pretty good, but it wasn't Malekith. If he started out as Malekith, it would be an easy S tier, but I can't imagine how that fight would go. I know there's lore reasons and all that stuff that I'm not really interested in. Then we have Radagon and Elden Beast. Okay. Now, I kind of wish it was separated, because the fights aren't like similar enough for me to rate them in one spot together. If it was just Radagon, S tier, easily. Like I said, he has that pacing. The only thing I did not like about him was the teleporting that does damage, and it didn't feel good. Reminded me a bit of the Lothric brothers in Dark Souls 3, but their own felt a lot better to me. Maybe, I don't know what it was, maybe, I don't know, honestly. But Radagon, I did like him. Like I said, that's probably the only thing I did not like about him. And that one grab attack he has that's like super delayed for no reason, but once I got used to it, it wasn't an issue at all. Elden Beast though, on my first playthrough, I would have like, I hated Elden Beast. I know I'm saying I hate a lot of these bosses, but I really did, in all honesty. But Elden Beast, on the second playthrough honestly wasn't that bad to me. Elden Stars sucks, of course. I'm not gonna deny that, especially when he's like overlapping it with a bunch of other moves. It does suck. But I didn't think Elden Beast was a bad fight. We'll put it here. I kind of would see. I would put it below Nile, but them two summons that Nile got, I'd rather fight this over like those two summons. You know, I feel like them two summons that Nile has puts him lower than the fact that Radagon has Elden Beast. And in fact, I would actually put him. I'll put him at the bottom of A tier, honestly. Yeah, I'm comfortable with putting him at the bottom of A tier. That looks good to me. Millennia. Okay, so first time I played this, like I said, I had the strength faith build, and I hated this fight so much. Waterfowl dance sucked. The recovery sucked. Hated it. I used summons. She would just like blitz through the summons. I tried Mimic Tier. I tried Tish, the assassin, Black Knife assassin Tish. Wasn't working. Like I threw the whole kitchen sink at her. I hated this fight. But and honestly, the way I beat it on my first account, the like I said, strength faith build, I think I switched to like dual wield bleed with the rivers of blood. And Mimic Tier, like I hated this fight that much. And I don't feel like I got to appreciate the fight because of that. Because on the second playthrough with the pure Dex build, I loved this fight. Phase 1 is amazing, honestly. Phase 1 is beautiful. Yes, the waterfowl dance does suck. I didn't. It sucks when it one shots you. I will say that, but just playing patiently, and dude, I'm sad that I didn't record my fight with her because I was busy doing something else, but I was like playing the game while talking to people, and I didn't want to have our conversation inside of the video, so I didn't record it. But dude, it was amazing. I literally love this boss fight. I would even say her and Godfrey are like really close together. Like if this is Millennia, then this is Godfrey right here. Like it's really close. I love the fight so much. And her phase 2. Well, yeah, so waterfowl dance, let's start with that. It was a fun, let me not say a fun mechanic. It's definitely a BS move. But without it, Millennia would be a walk in the park. 100%. Her moveset isn't that scary outside of it in phase 1. Phase 2, I would knock her down to A tier because 1, she becomes like a billion times more aggressive, which I don't mind. Like I said, because in phase 1, you're kind of just walking the park with her. And so phase 2, her getting aggressive, I don't really mind all too much. But the one thing I didn't like is that she now has like 3 or 4 moves where she jumps in the air. And without, like, just instinctively, you don't know if she's going for waterfowl dance, the cloning move, or just the regular, like, slam she does, or the other one where she kind of, like, I don't really know how to describe it, but, like, it's like a little sweep kind of attack. Apart from those, like, that very specific thing, dude, the fight is great. And it's so funny because I hated it at first, but like I just appreciated it so much more. And I was thinking of doing another playthrough of Elden Ring with a pure strength build. I've never done a strength build in any of the FromSoft games. I always do a dex build, usually with a katana. So if you'd be interested in seeing me do that, comment that down below. I was also thinking about doing like me and my brother, or maybe brothers, I don't know, kind of going through Elden Ring together and fighting all of the bosses together, because they haven't played the game as much as I have. Like they haven't gotten past Radon. Like they haven't gotten very far. So kind of doing that, I'm thinking about it. That would be a fun video. But that's really it for the video. I hope you did enjoy the video. Once again, be sure to follow me on Instagram at SimonSabroYT. Link will always be down in the description. Also, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss an upload, all of that good stuff. Once again, comment down who's your favorite boss. You see my tier list. Maybe if you have your own rankings, go ahead and comment that down below. What's your favorite FromSoft game? Anything like that whatsoever. But that's it for me. This is Simon Sabro Altus signing out. I catch you on the next one.